Okay, so in this video, we're going to be looking at how to make and assemble a grilled cheese sandwich. So in addition to our pan and a spatula, we're also going to need a few more things. The first thing that we need is our bread. This is regular white bread, but feel free to use any bread that you're comfortable using or that you like. All bread is good for grilled cheese. After we have our bread, now we have to start making some choices. And the first choice we have to make is what kind of cheese we want to use. Here we have American cheese and some shredded cheddar cheese. And you can use either one, you can combine them, you can use any cheese that is soft or any medium cheese like cheddar that is a medium cheese. The second decision we have to make is on the outside of our bread, do we want to use mayonnaise or butter? And we put the mayonnaise or butter on the outside of the bread to help give it that crispy, toasty brown color. It also helps work as a barrier between the bread and the hot pan so that we don't burn the bread. Now, some people don't like mayonnaise, some people don't like using butter. This is entirely a personal choice for you. But remember, if you use butter, make sure it's room temperature, or when we go to spread it on the bread, it is going to tear through the bread. The third decision we have to make is if we want to put anything into it. Here we have some honey mustard and some red onions, but we can also put in some ham if you want a grilled ham and cheese sandwich, or really anything else that you like. So we have our bread, our cheese choice, our oil choice, and our ingredient choice. Trees. Okay, so we are going to start assembling our grilled cheese sandwich. Now, I have chosen to go for mayonnaise. If you choose to use butter instead, it is the same procedure. Make sure it is room temperature butter, very soft butter. And I am also using honey mustard on mine and onions. You do not have to use those if you do not want to. These are optional. And we are also using some shredded cheddar. So first, we'll take one slice of our bread and some of the mayonnaise, and we're going to put this mayonnaise on very, very thin. We almost want to be able to see that bread through the mayonnaise. In fact, you should be able to see the bread through the mayonnaise. That's how thin we're putting this on. Just like that. And we're going to do the same on this side. So we're going to take our mayonnaise and just very, very thin. Just like that. We can see the bread through the mayonnaise. That's it. Now, we're going to take these and we're going to turn these over so that now we have this side. And yes, you will get a little bit of mayonnaise on your countertop, and that's okay. Very easy to clean up, or butter if you're using butter. So now what we are going to do is we're going to take some of our honey mustard, and this is just mixing honey and mustard. If you want to buy this, you absolutely can, but I made this. It is just honey and mustard. So we're just going to put some of that on. Now we are going to take a few slices of our onion. And again, if you don't like onion, this is something you don't have to do. This is entirely optional. We're just going to place our onions on there. Now we're going to take our cheese and we're going to sprinkle our cheese on. And we want to try to get it as even as possible. There we go. It's going to fall off the side, and that's okay. That's actually going to help us a little bit later. Now we just take our bread, and that sandwich is ready to go on top of our grill. So we are now ready to cook our grilled cheese. And one of the important things about grilled cheese is the temperature of the pan. If the temperature is too hot, the bread is going to get crusty or burned, and the cheese is not going to melt. So the best thing we want to do is we want to turn this on to low, and we're going to let this pan heat up a little bit. And what we're looking for is when we put the bread on the pan, we want that bread to start sizzling a little bit. Not a lot, just a little. And that's a sound that to look for when you're putting it on. So we're going to let this pan heat up. We're going to take a step back, and we will be right back to put our grilled cheese in the pan. Okay, so it's been a few minutes. Our pan is heated up. So we're going to take our grilled cheese and we're just going to place it straight in. And you should hear a very, very low sizzle. And that's exactly what we want. So we're going to leave this until we see the cheese around the outside here start to melt. And then we're going to flip it. And we're going to be flipping this a couple of times just to make sure that nothing gets overcooked and then that cheese is nice and melted through. So we're going to leave this right now, and then we're going to be coming back to it. Okay, so we're back with our grilled cheese sandwich. And now we're going to take our spatula and just kind of go under. And you might notice that the bread's it's still a little soggy, and you know what, that's okay. But we're just going to flip it over. And it's starting to get that nice brown. And one thing you can do is, if you need to, bring the heat down. If you notice that's a little bit over brown, or if you notice it's not quite there, you can bring the heat up a little bit, but you do want to make sure you're maintaining that heat so that the bread will toast and that cheese will melt. That's what we're looking for. Now when we flip it, we can also push down on it a little bit, and that'll also help a little. Okay, so we are back at our grilled cheese, and we're going to flip it again here. And oh yeah, that's looking nice. And we can see if we look inside that cheese, it's getting nice and melty. That's going to be nice. So again, we're going to step back. We're going to wait a little bit, and then we're going to come back, flip it again, and we're just going to keep checking and flipping until it is at our desired doneness. Okay, so we're back again, and we're going to take it and we're going to flip it. And for me, that is looking about, that's done on that side. We're going to push it down a little, and we're going to leave this for a few minutes more. All right, so our grilled cheese, let's flip it one more time here and just check. And that's looking pretty nice. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this onto our plate, and we're going to cut it in half. And we're just going to check the cheese, make sure that the cheese in the center is melted. And if it is not melted, we can take those two halves and we can put them back on the stove here, and then we can flip them again. So until we are happy with our sandwich, we're going to leave our stove on. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to cut this off to the side, and we're going to take a look at what it looks like inside. Okay, so I took my grilled cheese and I just cut it in half. And if I look inside, that cheese is nice and melted. Now, if we're using cheddar, it's not necessarily going to be as melty as if we use American, but that's going to be a good grilled cheese right there. So with our grilled cheese, we have just taken it off the stove, and some of you might notice that this is a different sandwich than the one that we cooked earlier. And one of the reasons for that is after we made the other sandwich, me and the rest of my crew instinctively went to eat that sandwich because it's grilled cheese and it's delicious. So we have another sandwich here, which just goes to show how quick you can make a new grilled cheese sandwich. So we have our sandwich here. We're just going to take our knife, go right down the center, and if you want that nice gooey bit, push them together and then pull them apart, and you have that nice gooey center right there. And those right there, those are ready for some tomato soup. Now, if you want a nice clean plate, you can go in with a paper towel, just wipe things off, and put things how you want them to look. This is the nice thing about food, is that we can do so much with it. Thinking like that. I like that. So we're just going to wipe off the edge here. There we go. A little bit over here. And there is our grilled cheese sandwich.